Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another PGR reaction. Today, we finally have Dreaming of the Glowing Place. I had promised this one weeks ago, but there were other songs in the way from my own brain, and people just wanted to hear other stuff as well, so it took me a bit to get to this one. But I'm finally here, and I'm finally going to be listening to it. So without further ado, let's go. Ooh. Loving that harmonic dissonance already. Beautiful way to start. I love it when people write in violin plucks. Oh! You know what? Didn't expect the accordion today. I'm vibing. This is beautiful. We have a 3/4 waltz going on right now. 3, 2, 2, 3. Beautiful cadence. Ah. I think I was expecting something more energetic, but I am so happy that I got this instead. Oboe solos, by the way, very underrated. Ooh! Spoke too soon. Here's the energy. Is that a harpsichord with that buzz? That's really cool. That's a neat percussive thing. I don't think I've ever heard them put in a harpsichord like that. And like using that buzz as a rhythmic item. That's really cool. Could be a hammered dulcimer too, so. I like that it hasn't gotten out of the 3/4 really. It's still in it. It just brought the energy with you. Ooh. A nice, just solid resolution there at the end, just finishing it off really strong. That was gorgeous. I'm so glad that that's what I heard today. Just as a real quick aside here before I get into the stuff about the music, I noticed something when I was watching, that this design on the backing here of this dress, I think this is the cutout that would be on a cello, which is cool because I believe that's what she's playing, at least some futuristic variation of a cello. That's pretty sick, but also just having that detail in the design work is so gorgeous. I noticed it when I was watching, but I didn't want to say anything because I thought it would be too distracting in the moment, but I had to point it out. That's a really cool detail. So I'm not entirely sure if in this context this song is a character theme or if it's just something to do with the story. I'm going to work under the assumption that it is a character theme, given that we had a very prominent character on screen the entire time, and it didn't seem to be really alluding towards any other story beats happening during the song. So I'm assuming that the song is her theme in at least a generic sort of way. Like it's supposed to encompass who she is as a character and make you kind of feel what she feels through her story, and that's kind of just how those tend to go. So for this one to start so soft and elegant and honestly surprisingly gorgeous and just refined in its beauty, it didn't really have anything going wrong in it. It was very prim and proper. I feel like maybe that's her origin. Somebody who was kind of on a pedestal of some sort. Maybe she was like a sheltered rich girl or some shit. And that's just how she is as a person. And that's who she is. But then something in the middle happened there. It got very hectic, and I'm not sure what the storyline for PGR is, how things work in this world, if it comes to the characters like being drafted into a world of war and that's what they have to deal with, and maybe that was that moment, or if there's some other sort of extreme hectic situation that happened in their life, a total 180 change that made them go, oh shit, now I gotta do this. And that's what happened to the song. It completely shifted its approach. Its entire energy was completely different in that second half, but also it didn't really lose the root of what it was. It stayed in 3/4. It didn't shift the time. So you can tell she's kind of keeping up with this as well. When a song that reflects a character changes its energy, that doesn't mean that the character has to get lost in that, you know, like that's usually when, if the character does get lost, a time signature shift will happen or a major genre change in the song itself would happen. In this one, it was more just like still a gorgeous orchestrated piece, but it had some more energy to it. It just had more layers to it. That's not necessarily changing the approach of the song as it is energizing the entirety of it and just changing how the song feels rather than changing the entire approach to the character it's supposed to represent. And that's where I have to approach this song assuming that something major happens in the middle, because when that energy shift does happen, there's so many other layers, but she's not getting lost in it. And with that, I have to assume that she kind of just took this in stride, really. Like, she wasn't thrown off too much by it and was able to adapt naturally to it. Maybe to the surprise of people around her. Maybe it was just like, oh shit, okay, well, I guess you're better at this than we thought. Or maybe it's something else unrelated. I'm not sure. In so many of the games I've covered, I've gotten like a general idea of how the gameplay works and how the storyline is at this point. But PGR is one of those games I know basically zero about. I have no concept of the characters in it, what the lore means. I haven't seen any of that. People don't tend to comment it in these comment sections. So I'm left with this really small pool of information for me to build from. And I'm not sure where that's going to lead me with this one, because like I said, there's definitely that pivot point. I'm just not sure what that would be. I have no context story-wise what that moment is. I don't know if she was like an aristocratic child or something, then all of a sudden drafted into the war and that's what she's dealing with. I'm not sure if she's a robot. That wouldn't surprise me. So many of the games have stuff like that. I wouldn't know where this story goes. Maybe she's a god for all I know. I have no clue what PGR is about in the grand scheme of things. So it's hard for me to pick out exactly what that pivot is, but that is a pivotal moment for me to figure out what that second half is. Because to me, it just sounds like she herself is a little disjointed, but also, again, keeping up with that. Maybe she's eccentric. Maybe that's all it is. But the fact that the energy gets so pumped in that second half feels like she's basically shipped off to war and now has to deal with all that. And there's just constant wrong happening in her life, but not so much that she's lost in it. She's able to keep up with it. And that's kind of jarring compared to the first, which was so much more lethargic. It was a lot more legato and just beautiful. Then it gets really energetic and more like a march. It kind of takes that dancing waltz flair and changes it into a militant sound in a way. Not exactly, but you get what I mean, especially with that marching snare in that second half. There are so many musical changes where I would be like, oh, this is probably where this logical step in the story takes place, but I don't have that info for this game. So I'm just like, I don't know, maybe she just had a good poop. I really don't know. It's so hard to pick what the characters are doing with that little information. The only thing I can really guess with any certainty is that there is a great expectation there that happened out of nowhere, and now she's surprisingly living up to it. And that's what's happening here. There's so much going on in her life, and there's constant ups and downs, but she's still keeping a sense of self through it all. Despite what happens, despite what goes on in her personal life or what's happened to her, there's still this constant of her mind being strong enough to work through it, because there's enough of the original energy of the song and enough of that beauty in it that she hasn't changed as a person so much as things around her and situations she's in has made her have to think in advanced ways and like constantly on fire. You know, like there's not much time to settle down. She's going all the time. I don't think there's much time for her to settle in, much like that first part was showing. And apparently this was the first time a new composer in Vanguard has written for PGR. Azusa did an amazing job here. If this is the first example of future works to come, if this is the bar, they set it very high. I'm interested, obviously, to hear more what may come of this, but that's a very high bar for your first song. I only saw that because the very top comment was them saying, hey, this is my first PGR song, and I'm like, oh shit, really? So that's impressive all in its own, but still, high bar. Where are you gonna go from here? I'm excited to see that, but also for the people in the comment section, what the hell is up with the story in PGR? Somebody needs to like drop me a generalized lore dump for this game that I can read, because every other group does that. Every other game has done like a major lore, like generalized dump at least once, which is why I know like the general storylines of Genshin and Arknights and all these other titles. But I don't know that with this one. It is so baffling to me. It's completely alien to me what the story is here. So somebody lore dump me, please, so I can at least figure out what the hell is going on in this world. I need something. I need a base to be able to figure stuff out. I'm confident I've done relatively well to this point, but if songs are going to start getting more character-based like this one, at least I assume is a character-based song, I'm going to need some more info. So leave something down below with just write as much as you want. I'll read it. I have nothing else going on right now, so write your soul away for all I care. I need to read up on this game a little bit, and the best people to ask are people in comment sections. You guys love to write stuff. You guys love to lore dump in every single community that I've made a video on. So I assume there's at least one person out there that's waiting for their opportunity. This is it. Let me know, fill me in, just give me generalizations. Don't worry about spoiling stuff too much. I don't mind. I'm much more of a journey, not a destination person, so if you have to throw in a few spoilers to make things make sense, go for it. But that's all I've got to say on this song. With the little information I've got, I can't get deeper into what may be going on with the world or how that may be affecting this character. So lore dump me, and I will figure out if that changes anything going forward. But anyway, thank you all so very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video and you have something else you want me to get to from PGR, please leave it in the comments below, as well as a lore dump for sure, and I will definitely make sure to get to it if I can. And of course, if you just enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!